So, one of the hardest things I had to do in order to become the person that I am today, which I'm very proud of, is I had to look myself in the mirror and realize that I am the reason why I'm not where I want to be in life. And that is a very, very, very uncomfortable discussion to have with yourself. At least for me, it was. And I think for most people it is, because it means that you have flaws. It means you're not perfect. It means that you have areas that you need to improve on. And like most people, I didn't like to be wrong. I didn't like to blame myself. I was that person that would blame everybody else except Jasmine. And that got me absolutely nowhere. It got me feeling depressed, feeling trapped, feeling like I had no control over my life. I was very insecure, and I just wasn't a good person to be around. I was very miserable, and we all know misery loves company. I could never see the glass as half full. I always saw it as half empty. And I don't really know what took place for me to realize this, but it just came to me one day like, I can't keep living like this. I can't keep feeling like I have no purpose in life. And that's how I was feeling. I was overweight. I was a heavy drinker. I was at a job that I absolutely hated. I used to smoke weed. I was just doing all of these negative things to my body instead of handling what was really going on. And I decided to go to counseling. I decided to work on my mental health. And since then, I have prioritized my mental health. And a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people struggle with understanding that where they're at in life is a direct reflection of the choices that they've made. It's uncomfortable, and even if you start the process of trying to change, it's hard to see it all the way through. A lot of times people give up. A lot of times people revert back to their old ways because that's what they know, that's all that they know. But I promise you that if you stick with your mental health journey, if you stick with trying to be the best version of yourself every single day, you're going to reflect back years later and be so proud that you did. And, just showing and documenting my story, because I have another YouTube channel that's more so geared towards weight loss and fitness. Just seeing how far I've come on that journey is amazing. I used to be 340 pounds. I'm 6'3", and I was very overweight at the time. I knew I was big, but I didn't know I was as big as I was until I started seeing how small I got on my weight loss journey. And I believe that how you treat your body is a reflection of how you feel. And because I was treating my body like shit, it actually matched the fact that I felt like shit. And, like I said, it's a really hard journey to come out of that, to pull yourself out of that, to realize that you are in control. You may not be able to control your environment or the people around you, but you can always, always, always control yourself. You can control your emotions. You can control what you eat. You can control how you respond to different things, to people. You have control over all of that. But a lot of times we let our pride get in the way. We let our anger get in the way. We let all of these emotions get in the way, and we never make it to the other side of just being the best version of ourselves. And, it takes a lot of work to get here. Every day I'm analyzing what I did yesterday and how I can do better today. I talk to you guys so much about keeping your energy high because it's so important. You have to walk around with a feel-good energy. You have to protect your energy at all costs. And if there's an environment that you're in, or there's people that you're around who are not allowing you to feel good about yourself, you have to remove them from your life. You have to, because you will never be able to manifest the life that you want if you don't keep that feel-good energy. If you're walking around feeling negative and pessimistic, insecure, frustrated, sad, angry, anxious, depressed, bitter, just any negative emotion that you could think of, if you are walking around feeling like that, you will not manifest a damn thing. Nothing that you want is going to come true. And that's why I get annoyed with myself sometimes when I do feel negative, because I know that if I don't get that negative energy out of me, I'm not going to be able to attract anything beautiful in my day. And, there's a lot of things that I do to prevent negative energy from taking over. I go to bed every day at the same time, 8 o'clock/8:30. I make sure I get 8 hours of sleep. I work out, I eat clean, I prioritize my mental health. I'm constantly asking myself, how do I feel? What's going on? What did I do today that I would like to improve on tomorrow? How did this interaction with this person make me feel today? I'm constantly analyzing my day. I'm constantly figuring out ways to make my day more productive than it was yesterday. I started journaling. I have been fine-tuning my morning routine. I've started doing more things that make me happy, like making these videos for you guys. And I love making my weight loss and fitness content as well. So really just locking in on how to be happy, but also how to monetize it so that I can still pay my bills. We all have bills to pay, right? But one of the biggest things that I can tell you is a lot of times we are in our own way. And a lot of times we don't realize that the habits that we have, the routines that we have, is what's keeping us from reaching our highest potential. Like I said, I used to drink all the time. How can I improve on my life and start working towards my goals if I'm always drunk when I get off of work? Like, I wouldn't be drunk at work, but give me an hour after I clocked out, I was definitely feeling tipsy every single day. And on the weekends, I would start earlier. I convinced myself that as long as I didn't start drinking before 11 o'clock in the morning, I was not an alcoholic. Go figure. But if I'm always tipsy or drunk, how can I work on myself? How can I improve my life? I'm not coherent. I am not thinking fully because I am on something, right? And that was a habit that was keeping me from improving my life. Same with overeating. How can I work on anything if I don't have the energy to do it because the foods that I'm eating are putting me to sleep because they're full of sugar or they're greasy, or you know what I'm saying? I'm not fueling my body with healthy foods that's going to keep me energized throughout the day. How can I maintain high energy if I'm not exercising? So I had a lot of bad habits that were keeping me from being able to think clearly, that were keeping me from being able to figure out what it is that I really want to do with myself. And that was a hard realization. Another thing I noticed was I became comfortable in my work environment, even though I hated it, even though I was miserable, even though it was toxic and it was just poking away at my self-esteem. I became comfortable with feeling like that because that's all I knew. I never knew what it felt like to be extremely happy every single day. Like, yeah, I would have moments where I was happy about something. I had a reason, but to wake up every single day like I do now and just be happy just because, I never experienced that before. So I have become comfortable in it feeling negative. And I was also around other negative people. That's how a work environment is toxic, because there's multiple negative people there. And I got comfortable with a negative spirit. So that's what I'm saying. We have to realize that a lot of the times we're where we're at because of the things that we do. I was pretty lazy. I wanted a new job, but I never really spent hours and hours and hours applying for new jobs. Like I said, I just became comfortable with being miserable at that job. So, I had to work on myself a lot. And over these past few years, I learned so much about myself just by prioritizing my mental health. And if you're not prioritizing your mental health, I'm telling you, you don't know what you're missing, because there are so many issues that you have that I had that I didn't even know I had, that wasn't even brought to my attention until I went to counseling. I used to need to be validated by other people in order to feel like I was worth something. I used to need friends, and if I didn't have friends, or if me and my friends got into an argument, that played a role in how I felt about myself. And that's toxic. The only validation you need is that of yourself. I used to need the approval of others. I used to care what other people thought about me and the decisions that I made. That's toxic. And if people didn't approve of my decisions or my ideas, I wouldn't do them because I wasn't strong enough to trust my own opinion and to trust my own decision-making skills. That's toxic. I used to critique every single thing that I did. I used to be my biggest bully. Anything that I did wrong, I would beat myself up for it. I used to critique how I looked, how I acted, what I wore, like second guessing every single thing and what other people would think or say. I was very toxic to myself. I had a really bad temper. Anyone could make me go from 0 to 100. I had no control over my emotions. I didn't even know how to communicate my emotions. That was toxic. But it wasn't until I started working on my mental health and prioritizing that where things started to change for the best. For the best. And reflecting back on who I used to be, I am like, wow. And I say it all the time on my different platforms. Like, it's like every other day I'm just in awe at how far I have come. But that's because I prioritize being better than I was yesterday. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm constantly asking myself, how do I feel about yesterday? Or how did I feel about today? Where did I go wrong? Was I distracted anywhere? Could I have done anything better? How can I improve my videos for tomorrow? How can I feel more inspired? I make it intentional. It doesn't just happen. I intentionally try to be better every single day. And even on the days where I don't feel the most motivated, those are the days that actually make me stronger. Because despite not having motivation in that moment, I still have to thug it out. I still have to get my work done. And that teaches me discipline. And I have become so disciplined over the past few years. Before, if I didn't feel like doing something, I just wouldn't do it. Now, when I don't feel like doing something, I don't care. I still do it. Because I know it has to get done. And I'll ask myself, well, if you don't do it, how do you plan on accomplishing this? So I just do it. But that came through working on myself, working through my mental health and prioritizing keeping my energy high, keeping my spirits high, loving myself, being secure with who I am, being okay with who I am, and not feeling like I have to fit into some puzzle piece that society thinks I should be or the people around me think I should be. I'm going to do what makes me happy. As long as I'm not hurting anybody or taking advantage of anybody, then I'm going to do what makes me happy, and I'm not going to feel bad about it. But it took a while to get to this point and to feel that secure with myself that I'm actually able to do it. So look yourself in the mirror and recognize that if you're not where you want to be, that doesn't mean it has to stay that way, but you do have to accept responsibility for the life that you have. And figure out what habits have created you to be here. And once you figure that out, how do you change it? I don't want to sit and talk about problems all day. Now it's about how do we change it? What's the solution? What's the game plan? How are we going to get out of this situation that we're in so that we can live a better life? So work on that. It's important. You got it. Bye.